What's going on, people? This is the 5th official episode of the Jet Lounge podcast, man. I just got to tell y'all, appreciate you for tuning in. If y'all still rocking with us right now, we going to episode 3000, man. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. But enough of that. We got a man whose name rings bells, man, all throughout the city and the country, and soon to be worldwide. A good friend of mine, known him for a good minute now, and I've watched this person build communities and make impacts throughout, the world actually. Just tapping in with knowledge and giving people information. Always been a selfless person in times of like crisis and just things like the George Floyd situation. I remember just watching him go to the front of a like 20,000 person crowd, grabbing the mic and just giving people motivation that they needed to hear at that moment. And that's the kind of person he was and still is to this day. And I'm just excited to have him on the podcast. I remember when we tapped in and tried to do a podcast a few years back before we made it the Jet Lounge podcast. He showed up, man, and just gave me some of his time. And today, I know he had to be with his son at his basketball game. He still showed up. And so I appreciate it. My man, Pop Darby. What's going on, bro?
Hey, what's happening, baby? How you living?
I'm living good, man. I'm good. So introducing my man, Shakeel, right now.
How you doing?
So just to give you a little introduction to what we're doing here with the Jet Lounge podcast. I got JetQuest.
Right.
By the way, we still waiting on you to take a trip with us soon. But my man Shakeel got Credit Jump Solutions, his business funding company, and we was like, we see what's happening with this whole podcast space. It's all about content. People are monetizing their content, but their content is also all about, marketing and just material to have to be able to post and grow a following. And what could we come together on that is like credit, travel. You think Amex Lounge or, how you meet people at the airport and you're traveling, just having dope conversations with other people from different walks of life. And obviously we big on financial literacy. I'm big on hospitality, fun, and everybody wants to know what a certain type of person thinks about just what's trending or currently happening that's hot right now. So that's kind of what it's just all about. And we want to keep bringing people. Obviously, we're going to dominate Houston, so we got to bring people like yourself on, man. So tell the people a little bit about you. Like, who are you? Where you from? What are you doing?
But first, I want to say I congratulate y'all for coming and having this and putting it together because these are the conversations people need to have. A lot of times when people go on social media or YouTube, they just looking at whatever kind of interests they mind. But now y'all are going to create something that's not only interesting but educational.
Yeah.
So my name is Pop Darby. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm from Sunnyside, South Park. That's my area. My background is mechanical engineering because I went to Prairie View and I studied mechanical engineering. But I also was in the streets. So around that time, I remember I was a senior. I had a year left to graduate. And I was like, when we graduate, how much money we look at making? They always start people telling low numbers. They like, oh, yeah, I'm going to make like $60,000. My ignorant self, I go in my pocket, pull out $30,000. I'm like, man, I got $30,000 right now. I'm not trying to make $60,000 a year. And I pretty much kind of was living like where money was coming in fast, and I wasn't gonna say I wasn't financially responsible. I just didn't have the education that I have now to understand like how to put assets in place to take care of you for a long time.
Right.
So the older you get, the wiser you become. I started to do more studying. I started to do more research. I probably got like 1,000 books up, I'm gonna say. By the time I got there, my mind felt like I was so elevated that I was levitating and I was going around being able to like spill the information that I knew, and I realized common sense isn't common. So when we were talking to people and we were looking at like neighborhoods, being in the hood and everybody is inside of poverty, I'm looking at it like, this is not how the world is supposed to be, especially if we came from building kingdoms. So I started looking at the numbers, and Dr. Claude Anderson came out. That's what I was telling him earlier with a book called Powernomics. And in Powernomics, he described how if it's 45 million black people in America, then if we use 2/3 of our spending power and circulated it for 2 years, 1/3 of our spending power and circulated for 2 years, which was that $1.5 trillion, then all black people in America would have access to $1 million. And if that's the truth and the math made sense, I started doing the numbers. I'm like, this is almost easy for everybody to have access to capital, so there's no reason for so many people to be dying and willing to die based on money. If all we have to do is circulate it and become like an intersection where we are dependent upon each other.
Right.
But in the process of trying to make that dream come true, it just led me on so many different journeys to where now I can be doing graphics, I'm coding, I'm making clothing, I'm doing community outreach, I'm becoming a hero in Hurricane Harvey, and I'm filming a whole lot of it. So other people are being able to witness and see what I have going on. So that's kind of my story until we still pushing to now.
Man, so no, and it honestly is because like I remember just seeing a lot of the mathematics be the thing that be getting me because like you said, it's you can't argue numbers.
Yeah, numbers just make sense.
You know what I mean? So like when you put it together, like dang, if we was able to just do this, and that, like there's no reason for us to be in the position we're in. It kind of makes you angry or impatient or just like damn, like why can't we just get it?
Yeah. It's almost like it's too. You know how they say something is too much like right. It's like too simple. Like I know plenty of people on Instagram with like 50,000 followers, right?
Right.
People will look at $1 million like it's hard to obtain, but if you have 50,000 people putting up $20 a month, that $1 million is right there in your face,
right?
Every month. Then a lot of times people look at funds like they're only for one person, but what you usually do is create a fund of funds, and people like. In other cultures, they have Sou-Sou circles where they know how the Sou-Sou work. You know what I'm saying? He can understand how it works. Everybody get their turn.
Right.
But we don't have that. We don't even understand the concept of a Sou-Sou. We don't understand how, okay, we put in $1 million this month. Let's say I had a 60-30-10 rule of finance. So 10% we automatically save. So let's say we got 50,000 people. We put 100,000 to the side. We take 600,000 and we put it right back into our people to say, who have a business idea, let's fund it. Who needs a grant? Who has a property that we can invest into? And all we need is 3% of what they make on top of it. That's why when you come into communities, everything is supposed to be pulled back into one bank, which is what happened prior to 1952 when they started to infiltrate black communities with foreigners. So prior to that, everybody in our neighborhood was putting their money, a percentage of their money back into the community just by putting it into a bank account that could say create scholarship funds, create jobs, create more businesses. And we knew whatever business we create was going to go right back into our community. So everything we invested into, from the grocery store to the clothes to the tailor, it was all beneficial to us. So
right.
Nobody was really poor prior to 1952.
So like going into that, what do you think was because we all heard of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, but like, would you say that was the prime example, or was it just the fact that kind of every little Black Wall Street or neighborhood like that was doing it and it was just kind of a thing?
Yeah, it was a thing. Like everybody knew about Tulsa and Black Wall Street, but in 1865, when the 13th Amendment ended slavery and made it to where everybody became like chattel property, or if you became a prisoner, then you were back a slave. Most black communities split up, but they started something called a Freeman's Bank.
We got to get into that because that's a whole other thing that you just said. You just skipped over that, but that's a whole other thing.
That's just the legalese of it. Slavery never ended. They just said, okay, if they're a prisoner, they're a slave.
Exactly.
Pretty much. And then they started decriminalizing everything people did. No loitering. You couldn't look at people in the eyes. You know what I'm saying? It was so much stuff that was legal that now I could just go grab somebody and be like, you going to jail.
You're a
slave now.
Yeah.
Or you just continue sharecropping because even though we let you out of slavery, you don't have any assets. You're coming out of here poor. But what they did was they created the Freeman's Bank, and the Freeman's Bank basically pulled everybody's funds together. And this is from 1865 to 1875, the black community had over $10 million that literally got stolen and wiped away when they closed the Freeman's Bank. And everybody's savings went away. But from that 10-year period, they had bought so much stuff from Emancipation Park in Third Ward to starting all these communities. People are looking at it like, oh, Black Wall Street in 1921 ended. Yeah, but by 1900, we had Tulsa, Oklahoma, Durham, North Carolina, Harlem, Houston. Houston had multiple neighborhoods. Houston got Barrett Station. Sunnyside was a black community. Fourth Ward was a prominent black community that was doing international trade. You had over 60.
Wow, I didn't know that.
You had over 60 black towns that were doing real trade with real millionaires in the 1900s. Then in 1921, like people see the movie Rosewood and don't really realize that it's the same thing.
What movie is that?
It's with Ving Rhames. It's about Mississippi where a town is destroyed based on like some white folks saying something happened. And that was pretty much happening across the country. They saw how successful we were by the 1920s, and in 1921 the KKK had 1 million carded members. No, 2 million carded members. And I don't know if people realize what I mean when I say carded members. That's like I walk around with a card in my pocket. Like people are a member of the NAACP or something. Right. I got a card in my pocket that says I'm a member of the KKK. So if I'm saying with $20 a month, if we got 2 million people that are paying $20, we got 40 million. Right. They had 2 million people that paid an entry fee of $100. So now you know they got $200 million in the 1920s. Which is billions of dollars right now. Yeah. That's why when they were able to destroy cities, they were able to deploy the government. They were able to have planes and bombs. And it's like, this wasn't thousands of people were traveling to cities to attack these people. It ain't like it was just.
Nah, that gives a crazy perspective because I for one, did not know that it was an entry fee into the KKK.
Oh, yeah, they got a body roll.
But like you said, right. But like you said, 200 million is definitely $1 billion or more today in the 1900s.
1920.
And you talking about being able to pay off the police, buy whatever kind of weapon at the time. So that's crazy.
And most of it are government officials, police, the army.
This
is the people that they have.
So you don't have to pay them off.
So you don't have to pay them. All you're doing is telling them, hey man, we got to destroy these towns. And on YouTube, it's a movie called The Secret to Selling a Negro.
Yeah.
The Secret to Selling a Negro.
You seen that one too?
Yeah.
It's 1954. This is where...
Anna, can you write that down?
No, it's on YouTube. It's a clip.
They had already destroyed black communities, but black communities had kind of banded back together. They had destroyed the wealth in black communities, but they didn't destroy like the progress of us working together. And the mindset, because we always kind of wanted to work for ourselves. So in that description, they're describing how they can break us apart from shopping with ourselves to shop with them. It's a 20-minute video on YouTube.
I got it saved on my laptop.
Yeah, and when you look at it, you like, dang, this is what they doing right now.
Still to this day, shiny objects. It got to be designer. Like you were saying, we both can have the same product, but as long as Gucci put their name on there, they gonna go after Gucci.
They were saying because we had came from so little that when you see two hats on the shelf, one could cost $50 and one could cost $200. We gonna want that $200 one just because we
gonna feel.
We came from nothing. We don't feel like being nothing. We want whatever is expensive because it feels like it's worth more.
Yeah.
So they decided to start making us pay for things.
No, for sure.
I mean, we can even go back to like say in 2006. You know, we had Rockaware and all that. Then it get to the point where ain't nobody even wearing those black brands no more. Now they all in Gucci and Louis.
And that's the crazy part because I be thinking about that. Like, okay, at one point we get in the door based off of popularity and branding because like we are the culture, but at a certain point everybody's like, I don't want to be on the black brand. It's almost like a bad thing at a certain point.
It depends how you look at propaganda because. Remember, the way that they took down the Black Panther Party was by putting out pamphlets that the government made acting like it was the Black Panther Party that they wanted to kill police officers. So if I can buy somebody who owns Fat Farm or Rockaware and I can start to make their clothing less hip, I can just transfer them people into a whole nother brand. Yeah. So whoever is in control of the media is in control of the masses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Man, so really, what shaped you growing up? Because like, I know PV didn't give you this information, but like, what shaped you growing up to have like the thirst for knowledge and just the different thought process that you have now?
My mama was like a genius, but she was a genius with numbers. Like she had graduated high school early, went to Prairie View, got a degree, then got a master's. All by the time she was like 21.
Okay.
So, and her doing accounting was like me seeing numbers and all that. But she was making us read. Like I'm 6'3". I was always good at sports. My mama was never investing in sports, and I was mad because I'm like everybody else going to basketball camp and football. I'm at reading camp, like and or like a Mason camp or something. You know, I'm like, bro, this is crazy. Everybody else having a good summer. I gotta learn. But it's super beneficial when it came to my mind and my development because I was able to see farther. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now the information definitely changes, and you can see who has not just information, but like you have leadership qualities. So like, how did that come about? Because like you can have a bunch of info, but you still got to have a certain
But
personality
I
or
think that's
confidence.
just from being from the South Side of Houston. I feel like it's no other people like us in the world. Even I got a homeboy that rap named Quiet Money Dot, and when you listen to his song, you could tell he from the South Side. It's like a demeanor and a swagger that go with it.
Let's do a dive into that. What would you say is the differentiation of a person from the South Side and the North Side?
Nah, we ain't doing that.
No, but not to get into that.
What I'm saying is, it was more happening. It was more going on. It was more, at least in the 90s growing up. Remember, our generation is the millennials, so we grew up 90s. But the people before us, Generation X, they kind of got hit with a lot. Generation X is from 1965 to 1980. And those aren't most of our parents. They're most of our, like, the older people in the neighborhood.
Older brothers.
They was like 13,
uncles,
14,
cousins,
15. But
It
they're
was a very different generation for
that generation got hit with heroin, crack, mass incarceration. It got hit with so much that by the when I was little, I was looking at 19-year-olds that were millionaires. By the time they were 16. So they doing exactly what they want to do. And by the time they 19, they get hit with the mass incarceration and they in jail for 10, 20 years.
Now, that's a different
So it was
mindset.
like being able to see a lot. They never witnessed crack. Like when we came out and saw crackheads, we knew it was crackheads. They were given fresh to them, so they don't know what they finna turn into.
Yeah.
They was just like, let's see what
You
they
have
do.
no idea what this
Yeah.
person and why they acting like this, how that is, like what's happening.
Yeah, so I think the visual of what the South Side of Houston gave me was super beneficial.
Yeah. No, I was joking on that because I was just talking to somebody about how J-Dog is like the North Side rapper that everybody, it don't matter what side you was from. Like I ain't listen to nobody from that, but J-Dog, shout out to J-Dog, man.
Yeah, shout out to J-Dog. That's my boy.
Yeah, for sure. He was at I mean, we was together one before. But so when did you realize your life was gonna be really about this purpose that you on now? Or did you have a realization moment, or did it just start to evolve? Like what happened?
People used to be joking and they'll be like, you on that Black Panther shit again.
They ain't trying to hear that.
I'm like,
That's
just
hilarious.
chilling in the room, but we like 22.
Yeah.
So the conversation I'm having is like,
To you, it's just this is the
Yeah, I'm
conversation
like,
supposed to be happening.
This is the conversation we supposed to have.
Yeah.
You on this Black Panther shit again.
That's
But by the time I was about 26, I pretty much my time is up. I can't go to jail for this. So drink was going out in Houston. Everybody was selling drink. Everybody could have money in the early 2000s because drink was so cheap, and then activists had went up high when it was getting ready to be banned after Lil Wayne them came out talking about codeine. And since we still had access to it, it was easy for us to get money. So I stacked me up a bunch of money, and I'm like, you know what? I'm finna start my business because what I wanted to see in the world didn't exist. I had already went viral talking about, my Black Panther type shit where I'm saying, the math makes sense. If Sunnyside and Third Ward just acted like a homeowner association, they could circulate $1 million themselves, and house by house, we could get people houses improved. We could start people businesses, and all people would have to do is pay attention to what we're teaching. So if we have the money and you have the education, now you have no need for that community to be in a bad shape.
Right.
And that type of stuff was going viral, but going viral in conversation really not enough. So it started me into community activism where I'm like, all right, well, if the neighborhood dirty, we're going to do community cleanups. All right, if somebody need money, we're going to give out grants. All right, if kids need education, we're going to create a STEM program. All right, if kids need after school, we're going to see what building can open up so we can get them after school programs. So we was literally doing so much that I was like, you know what, I'm finna start this business and see how it works. And then when I started it, we just been doing it ever since.
Man, so because it is a lot of things in one, and it, like you said, the Black Panthers saying the Black Panther shit, they wasn't just one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was a school, they was community protection, they was community education.
Even when people look at like the Nation of Islam, right? When you look at the Nation of Islam, that's a nation inside of a nation. They have an army, they have hospitals, they have schools. They were, prior to Elijah Muhammad death, they had international sales where they was selling their fish. It was like everything you needed, they already had inside of this nation. They had a successful ecosystem.
Right.
And I'm like, it don't have to be tied to a religion. It's just how money circulates.
How have you found it being hard or easy getting that going though without it being tied to a religion?
Oh, it's hard because people really are stuck into that. Say, for instance, if I created a movie and I showed a kid that movie every day for 20 years, his whole life would be surrounded around that movie. And that's what they did with the Bible. So everybody lives inside of the Bible. Anything that happens in their life, they can compare it to somebody in the Bible. And that's not a bad thing because the Bible was written to describe how we can get through life, the basic instructions before leaving Earth. But whenever you can look outside of it and say, oh, we can do this, people are looking at it like, they used to call it a poor righteous teacher, right? So it creates a dogma. So when people look at Jesus, his whole message was, this is what we can do, and nobody ever did it. And then when they killed him, people was like, we should have listened. So that's the dogma that's created. It's like after people die, you see what they were trying to do with their message.
They become a martyr.
We have so many martyrs. I can name 20 people that have died that were trying to do what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that makes it hard when you realize that we have hundreds of years of history of people saying, all we got to do is put our money together, from Booker T to Frederick Douglass to Malcolm,
what's my man from Jamaica?
X to Marcus Garvey, wherever. It's hundreds of them, literally, and they all have the exact same message with math behind it and showing you.
Marcus probably had the most successful one that wasn't religious based, though.
He had the most successful one because he had tied it to something that people could see. He had tied it to a newspaper, which is the same thing the Nation did. And boats.
A cruise ship,
boats. So he knew, all right, we'll be able to prove people that we can make this money back or that we can circulate the dollar. Because people usually want to see something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, like, that's kind of partially answering the next question I was going to say, but, like, what drives you to continue to build it, knowing that a lot of the attention and even the money is, like, focused on elsewhere, and a lot of times dumb shit?
Because sometimes you're not building it for you. If you're not building it for yourself, then it's no need for you to go away from it. You know what I'm saying? If you're doing it for the culture, that's why I say people are supposed to steal things. When you put something out in the world, somebody should steal it. You know how many people call me and be like, say, for instance, this is a crazy story, but I had a white homeboy that from 3rd to 5th grade, I went to a private school, and I went to school with white folks called Lutheran South Academy. I got a white homeboy, and he was like, man, I like what you be talking about. He was like, I got Thanksgiving and I want to go and raise money. Can you help me create a way to go into my family and pitch? And in my mind, I'm like, going into your family and pitch, like, how much money you think your family gonna give you? I ain't say that. I just was like, all right, this is what we gonna do. So he go into Thanksgiving. He come call me like, man, I went. They gave me 30,000. I'm like, he think that's just like nothing. He like, they only gave me 30,000. I'm like, bro, I don't know if you know, but I don't know no black person that can go into Thanksgiving and come out with 30,000. That's
on Thanksgiving at that.
I don't care what type of people.
You know how much we spent for this food?
Yeah. So they really ain't even trying to hear your business pitch.
Right.
So when he did that, I was like, wow, a lot of cultures are really different. But he goes and buys a motorcycle, Rex, basically blows the money. I think like 2 years later, he asked for another pitch. He go in and get 70,000.
Man, we talked about this on the last time, and
yeah,
that's the crazy thing. But it's like, tell me this: did he succeed afterwards on the second time? Like, did he ever end up building something?
He started something. But the first time he didn't even try. I mean, he probably did something, but he failed.
He blew it,
and they didn't even. They were like, cool, he failed once. Now you probably gonna get it next time.
And most of us don't, like you said, don't get that first chance, let alone like you blatantly fuck up.
You don't have to fail to succeed.
You have to, but we, just coming from this culture, like we don't give each other that chance to fail with grace and then a second opportunity.
That's why you got a lot of people that create businesses and they kind of trick people into being a consumer. You know what I'm saying? They trick them with either hype or like false promises, and everybody is usually using that. And we get back into the credit now, since we don't have a way for us to go get capital from people, we can go get it ourselves with the credit.
Yeah.
So now people are leveraging credit to be able to do things, but you got people that's like, all right, I'm gonna get on social media, so when I get my credit, I'm gonna just get a nice car, I'm gonna get some nice clothes, and I'm gonna present myself as if I'm this. even if I'm not. But that's gonna get me consumer. That's gonna get me customers. So, and it be working sometimes. But what you think about that?
I just posted about it the other day. I said people, they have no money, they go get credit. Now they got $100,000. They go get the chain, they get the whole kit, the car, the whole thing,
So
and then they
do
blow.
you think it works?
It works if you do it the right way, because let's say you never had no money and you just went into $100,000 a day. You didn't even start a business yet.
Yeah.
But go back to like you were saying the Sou-Sou, because I'm from Trinidad. So my family, that's all they did. That's all I remember growing up was that.
How do Trinidad and the Sou-Sou work?
I guess the same way like everybody put in a pot and then everybody get a turn.
Yeah.
It's gonna come around where you get a whole big pot of money that you can use to invest. And I guess they probably use that to move all of us to America, because my whole family moved to America.
That's fire.
Nah, that is fire.
Yeah.
I know you ain't never brought that part up.
Yeah, well, because most people don't know what a Sou-Sou is. They call it different words.
In America, we call it a completely different thing.
I mean, we like group economics.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they're Sou-Sou.
What was they calling it during COVID? Like,
Yeah, it was another
when they
word.
was doing like the little.
I forgot. I know somebody.
The little pyramid.
Yeah, the little
it's like the
boards.
same thing, but they just call it something different.
In theory, it's just nobody's supposed to
More
stop.
about people trying to make money and somebody got to lose. The Sou-Sou means, let's say it's 5 of us in here, right? Every month, all of us gonna put in $200. So every month, somebody else gonna get 1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I put in 200, I'm gonna get 1,000. Eventually, everybody gonna get 1,000. We're gonna get a turn. But when it get to the point where it's big and we put in a bunch of money, let's say every month we put in 1,000, and now somebody get 5,000 every month. That's super beneficial. Now, when you get your big payout, because it's gonna be more than 5 people. Let's say it's 10 families.
And it's a thing where it's like a percentage is being held, and then a percentage is going to the one person whose turn it is.
If it's their turn, they're getting paid. And then it might be a fund where we always keep money just for emergency. But that person, when it's their turn, let's say if it's, like I know Chinese families, they had, everybody in their family was doing $100, but they had like 18 people. You're talking about aunts, cousins, grandma, everybody. So whoever get paid, you ain't really gonna miss that $100, but when you get that $1,800, it's gonna feel a whole lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you could be on your last. Now all I got is $100, but it just turned to $1,800 in the snap of a finger. Now I can go move my family to America. You know what I'm saying? But the larger amounts, the more money, the more it works.
I say credit is the same way. It's like a double-edged sword, because it's like you can do the right things and build wealth with it, but when people they get access to money that they never had before, they just can't wait to blow it.
I already know. I done blew money before, for real.
So let's talk about that. So what was your first big lesson messing up with some money, blowing some money? How did that work? How did that look?
Okay, let's say this. When I was a teenager, I had a gambling shack when I was 19. And I don't know if people understand how much money a gambling shack make. So if I'm cutting... Okay, I don't know how to even describe it. Let's say say people shoot dice. Dice have to hit the points. If I'm cutting on the points, that means no matter what I'm finna make, let's say they shoot 20, I might make $5 on 6s and 8s or whatever, or 10s or 4s or whatever I'm cutting on. At the end of that day, I probably, if they go up, shoot 20. If they go up to shoot 100, I might keep a 40 out of every pot. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna have $1,000 for sure. $1,000 every single day, and that's only if people gambling for a couple of hours.
And this was like a couple of, not even a lot of people.
It's not even a lot of people. Now, if it's big gamble, I'm gonna get big money. So when you got big money coming in every day, you ain't never looking at it like this is gonna stop. You like, oh, this is the simplest thing in the world.
You said at 16?
Not 16. I was out of high school. I was 19. I was 19, 20, 21. I was up in there, and I could lose $6,000 gambling and be like, oh well, you know what I'm saying? So that's a way where it's no problem for things to be able to go. I can go spend $1,000 in the store. I ain't gonna be tripping. I can have 5 pair of $1,000 shoes.
Right.
I'm gonna have $300 shirts.
Well, and was you able to do that simply because you had an understanding of math from like what you got from your mother and stuff like that?
No, I was able to do that because I had access to capital that was coming in and flowing. Anybody that make money can do whatever they want. I ain't gonna lie. You don't gotta be smart. The smart people are really gonna be the ones that suffer because they're going to be trying to perfect everything. The smarter I got, the worse I really got with money.
Overthink everything.
Yeah,
I saw that last night.
You're trying to do so much. You're trying to make things happen.
That's a viral clip right there. The smarter I got, the worse I got with money.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would say C students work for.
See, A students work for C students.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was I was an A and B student, but it was purely off not trying. When I got to college, it was over.
Yeah, I feel like everybody in public schools like that because you can make an A basically just
Showing up.
and a little bit of attention.
Yeah, like if you're a higher IQ person, which all three of us are, like in high school, you coasting through and like
I'm turning in my work and I'm in class. That's
Perfect attendance.
I didn't fall asleep.
That's how I got
today.
to school. Perfect attendance and just participate. You can't fail me for trying.
No,
Now when you get to college, it's like
you have to actually put a little bit of
I had a class thermodynamics where you got one math equation that's gonna look like a book, like. It's 2 pages to finish this equation.
One equation.
One equation.
Yeah, see, I'm good on that.
Man,
I was good on that. Is why I dropped out. So, all right. So, what is like? You know, we talk about all the stuff that we want to see, and what does legacy look like? Because a lot of these problems that we're talking about fixing, it's something that we'll initiate. We might not ever see in our lifetime. So, what does legacy look like for you in that aspect?
I don't think that it's something we can't see in our lifetime. I think that we got to have a purpose to make an impact. So the more people that you impact, the bigger your impact will be. So Nipsey said the thing where like, if I'm important to my community and my community is important to my city and my city is important to my state and my state is important to my country and my country is important to the world and me individually, I'm important to the world.
To the world.
So now I have to be able to make moves like I'm important to the world and then you'll be highlighted.
That's a amazing mindset to have because it puts into perspective. I mean, yeah, I've been a Nipsey fan since like 2011, but like because of how much he has a cult following, when he did pass, people who didn't know about him, why is everybody so like, why is it such a big deal? And they didn't understand, like, and it's other people in that aspect too, but it's like you said, you focusing on, Gary Vee talks about this too. He's like, so many people try to grow their audience focusing on like how to attract the 100,000 view video. But it's like, nah, how can you give the most value to them 13 motherfuckers who watch you every day?
Mm-hmm. And what you create is an expression of your consciousness. Like Malcolm Jamal Warner just died. Now, I don't know if people feel like he's like the hugest celebrity, but he had an impact in a lot of people's lives.
Culture for sure.
From Theo to Malcolm and Eddie to the movies he was in to the show, you know what I'm saying? So when he died, people like, dang, we lost one. You
and we watched him grow up.
Yeah,
even if it was through reruns. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, we all the same age, but like, yeah, like I watched this man from like here.
Watch the Cosby Show,
yeah. So
sure, and a lot of people out parents of that in the household, they looking at that like, this what family look like? Or this what, because that was a black upper echelon family where dad was a doctor.
That was different.
Mama was a lawyer. That was completely different.
Completely different. So, okay, let's get into it. I'm the only one with no kids here. So I want to ask both of y'all this question. So, like, what values are y'all instilling in y'all sons right now that you want, you know, like, even when you're gone, you want them to still be able to have on and pass on as well? Like, what are you instilling in them right now? What is important that they take from you?
Somebody had told me something the other day, and I realized I didn't have it as like this type of direction when I was young. Mm-hmm. And he said it was my homeboy. He had his dad growing up, so I don't know if he got it from his dad or what. But he said, "Are you growing?" I got a son and a daughter, so it works interchangeably. But he say, "Are we creating sons that can be husbands, or are we just creating men?" You know what I'm saying? And what does a husband do will be somebody that takes care of their family, somebody that maintains and manages control, somebody that is emotionally intelligent and can maneuver, but also somebody that has integrity and wants their work to impact the world. So I'm trying to instill that in my son. And then I be looking at it like, dang, the crazy part about raising kids is you realize how much outside influence has on your children. Yeah. Right? When it comes to, well, you got to really watch what they watch on TV, watch what they got on YouTube. You can't just let kids have free reign of education because they can learn in the wrong direction. And if somebody learned in the wrong direction, it could take them there for years. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I just want to make sure that he's on a righteous path and understands what he's doing, no matter what. Because I felt like I was always on a righteous path, no matter what direction. I knew what was the difference between right and wrong. There's some people that literally do things and think that this is the right thing to do. Like, say, for instance, stealing, right? Some people stealing because they need it, but they don't.
They know, like, I don't. Oh.
Some of them don't. They like, They ain't gonna miss it. I ain't tripping.
Right.
And some people like
better you than me.
I need it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a big difference in mindset and attitude. So that's what it is. Then I like my daughter. I don't want her to be specifically like the world is all money focused. I don't want her to be money driven. I want her to be purpose driven. And that's that.
No, I agree with you 1,000%. I just got a son, and I'm the same way. Because my family, like I said, they from Trinidad, but most of my family's in Baltimore. So like my son don't even go out there. Like my son basically don't even know most of my family. And it's because, like I said, the influence. Like I know I made it out, but everybody else is still stuck there with the same mindset. So when he's growing up around the cousins and everybody else, it's like you can't control it. But when I keep him in Houston and he's with me all the time, it's like
you got 100%.
I know 100% of what he's listening to, what he's watching, and just him seeing me just lead by example. Because again, like I said, I don't want my son to just be out here just hanging with anybody because it's easy to get influenced nowadays. Luckily for me, I was strong-minded growing up. All my friends was getting in trouble, doing whatever they want to do, but I always kind of just steered in the right direction. So I wanted him to have literally the same way growing up. Like, not because your friends do drugs, that means you got to do drugs.
And I feel like a lot of people don't realize how close we came to not making it this far. You know, there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I couldn't have made it out this situation. And like certain stuff we used to do when we was little, when we like ride around, even if we doing something illegal, it's one thing I never do. I never let people smoke in my car. 'Cause I know if I get pulled over, I don't want my car smelling like weed. I know so many people that's the reason why they in jail and started they path towards destruction just because they didn't pay attention to the little things.
Little ass details.
Yeah, it's details that if you follow them, you'll be all right.
I'm a square.
Yeah.
I live a square life because it costs too much to be a criminal or just getting in trouble. I don't like giving people my money that I don't get no return on it.
I got a question. What you think about the state of the world right now, like the affairs of the United States of America with this current president?
Man, it's a ever evolving question to be honest, but I think right now America is like the bully who's been the bully for the longest period of time, and we have somebody at the head who understands that we kind of are losing that power, and we doing a lot of volatile activities right now to maintain that. And the world is reacting and kind of like watching from afar, like they neighbor who, oh, you got the biggest house on the block, but like it's a lot of shit going haywire over there. And that's kind of like in a summary how it feels like to me right now. We still got the most guns. We still got the most money in theory, right? You know, we can print whatever we want and do whatever we want. But I think a lot of countries around the world are getting a lot more confident that we don't have to really bow down to America.
Yeah, I think that it came to a point where, especially when Trump is getting into office, because I'll be listening to what he be saying, and he was like,
Trump knows the game. He's playing the game.
Man, this boy said that we got the best army and we spending the most money in all of these countries. They come in and they taking all of the resources. So just like how people in the black community be like, we need to spend our money with ourselves. He literally said the same thing about America. We need to spend our money with ourselves. We can make each other rich. And then he was like putting a list out of all of the big companies that had left. And I was like,
that have like bases in other countries.
In other countries. And he was like, they need to come back or they need to be taxed.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know,
basic math.
This dude ain't really tripping that bad. He might understand something. And I just started going deep into it. And then as far as like Robert F. Kennedy, right? I rock with Robert F. Kennedy because our food for the last 20 years, 30 years have been poisoned. And he getting it up out of there. So I'm like, you know, it's really a grand resetting going on right now. And we're going to figure out after this next 4 years how we can manage our affairs as a country. But I feel like in the next 4 years, we got a lot of opportunity if we pay attention. Like, say, for instance,
a lot of economic opportunity.
Yeah, say, for instance, on the 20th of this month, they had been saying like it was going to be an announcement. It was going to be an announcement. They told us to get in like 4 different cryptos online. And I was looking at them and I'm seeing what was going on. I didn't get in one of them, but I knew XRP was going to go up. I knew Ethereum was going to go up. So I was like, all right, let me get in my main 2 I always rock with. And on the 20th, they made an announcement saying that they was going to use XRP as a ledger to be able to manage different things. And I'm like, hold on, it went up. I'm like, okay, I as long as we pay attention to what's happening in the news, we can almost guarantee we're going to be able to be the beneficiaries in the future
of what's happening. Yeah. And that's how most of the countries that are having like just an upward swing in benefit, like Dubai. Everything that happens for a Dubai citizen is for their benefit. Their government does all this shit. When you come to Dubai to start a business, they just changed this recently, but like a Dubai citizen had to be your 50% partner, something close. It was like 49, 50%, something like that. But the whole system is set up for their people to benefit. So for so long, everything was just like, we just helping the whole rest of the world eat off of us. And yeah, we taking from them what we want. We see they got oil, we gonna go over there and take it, but we ain't really doing nothing on a systematic, regular subscription-based type level that's benefiting us. So and even to what you say, how would you say that having this conversation with the average person goes when you say anything even slightly positive about relating to Trump?
I ain't gonna even say I said nothing positive. I'm gonna say his business acumen was right, but
right. But
anytime
they'll take that.
you
They will
bring
take
him
that.
up,
They will take
gonna
that.
be like,
No, but what about?
yeah, they gonna talk about somebody. They'll make up something. Literally, they'll make up something different. They'll make up something. I'll be like, bro,
What about the bubblegum incident?
man, bro is running this whole.
Yeah.
Like Death Row Records and making the whole world get in alignment because people was really flexing on us. Like people didn't understand the tariffs, and they was like, "Why is he doing that?" And then they trying to match it. Then he realized that they had to bow down and be like, "Okay,
we really can't.
we can't
go back and forth
argue
with y'all like this.
We
Yeah,
need y'all money.
please.
Let's make an agreement."
Yeah.
and he knew that. I got the cards. You have to play by my hand.
And I somebody asked me what my politics was. Like, my politics is elitist. I don't look at
It's not Democrat or Republican. It's what's best for the people.
yeah. Well, not even just that. I look at it from and it is that from my personal what I want perspective. But I'm talking about how I'm viewing it. I look at where the money moves. Like, you pay attention. It's like Game of Thrones. All these, you have the country entities, you have the elite families, you have the banking entities, and you see where the money moves from there. It's not a thing where I get emotionally involved with, oh, this family got deported. If you go to Bali right now and stay there for more than 30 days, then police is coming to get you and putting you in jail.
America is the only place in the world where if you have a baby here, whether you're from here or not, then your baby is considered a citizen.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's like the way that stuff is going is nice, and there's videos that sensationalize things online, but we got to understand we've been extremely not even lenient, but like, this is the nicest country on the earth.
This is
as much as we do have some fucked up shit, it's the nicest country on earth.
Yeah. So
I think we were just talking about, you can't even go to Bali. If you get caught with weed in Bali, you will get the death penalty.
you out of the. You could do anything here. You could sneak in here.
You could do crack. You get out next day, bro. You can do crack. You can do crack and get caught on camera in 4K and get out this week.
Yeah, America is great. I tell people a lot of times, like, my point of view, I love America because I come from Trinidad. Yeah. Growing up, this is how everyone viewed
what
America.
Age did you get here? 9.
Oh. So, all my family was already coming back and forth. So whenever they came back home, we thought it was rich because it's like, it's America.
Yeah.
And still to this day, people there think that, everyone in America is rich. They like, I can't wait to come to America. But I'm like, you're probably living better and eating better in your country than people are in America.
Now, is that you thinking that when they came back with the American money, or like just them coming back?
Just in general, is the image. Like, I remember when Jay-Z came there for Carnival when they shot Big Pimpin'. I was still in Trinidad when they shot Big Pimpin' on a boat.
Yeah, shout out
so
to
you seen it, or you just knew about it?
Well, he was there at Carnival, so they had the big Carnival. So when they
that's lit,
because they did it in Miami and they did it in Trinidad. So like when he came there, it's like, bro. So and we look at celebrities like
God.
Like gods. It's like, you in America and you rich. I used to sit on the stairs and just watch the airplane and say, man, one day I'm gonna make it to America, because it's like, if you get to America, you made it. That's just the mindset. Like, get to America and you made it. And that's why a lot of us come here and we work so hard and we become successful, because we see the good. We don't care about the bad, because where we at right now, it's not bad, but it's like, you're not going to really get rich. You don't know nobody that got rich or have nice cars and things like that. Everyone is like doing the same thing. But in America, you come in, you make it.
Anybody do anything. So what was your thought process when you got here on like Black America?
I got two different mindsets, honestly. Back then, I used to think like, back then I used to be like, people just, I'm like, man, people in America just, they lazy, they don't want to work. And then after a while, I start seeing, I'm like, oh, the system is set up for most to fail. But I'm like, at the same time, you have the mindset to change it, because if I came here with nothing and I've been able to make it, Why can't you? If you got family history here, we didn't know nothing about credit. It's like everything for me is first generation, but you know about it, and it's like you got a better opportunity. You from it. You had to spend thousands of dollars to get a green card and start from literally nothing.
No, I think this is a crazy moment to go back to, like, when I asked y'all what y'all want to leave y'all kids with, because the key thing you just explained is difference in your original environment. Same with you. Like, your mother is a genius. You grew up with a completely different perspective from a Black American. And, like, you might have a person their soil was so unfertile, they never even got the conscious awareness to realize that they was thinking so trash about their situation.
Not only that, when you look at how, like, one thing he said was the system is in place.
Yeah.
So when we started doing things like saying they would hire more Black people in a place, right? They will hire anybody Black, but they have a purpose of keeping their prisoners of war, which means keeping them down, right? So just because I have to hire a Black person don't mean I have to hire a Black American. So when you look at college acceptance, when you look at job acceptance, when you look at people that work in government, they're going to say they have their Black quota, but they're not going to be foundation of Black Americans.
Ethiopians in there. Shout out to our Ethiopians, though.
They're going to be 9 times out of 10 from Africa, you know, or a first generation American. So it's like, even when you look at a Black community, right? The only way they kept a Black community poor was first they said, okay, well, they trained the Asians in California to do nails and sell hair. Then they trained the...
you say they, you talking about, like,
it was a white woman in the CIA who created a program that trained all Asian women. So you got to remember that there were concentration camps that held Japanese people and anybody that looked Japanese. So they were seeing the Asians. And then out of that, they started creating ways for them to be able to exist in this government, in this ecosystem. And they say the only way y'all can exist is if y'all work to help us keep Black communities poor. So that's why I say in 1952, a lot of Black communities were Black owned. But even prior to integration and segregation, integration, we had already been infiltrated to where people had came in the community and became business owners that weren't us anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That didn't live in our communities or invest in our communities. Yeah. They were just pulling the money out. And they had to pay their tax to the government, take care of their family, a lot of them sending money back home, and they ain't coming back into our communities. So a lot of things you look at, you be like, man, why that community look like that? Or why is it like that? Or why they can't get ahead? Because the opportunity ain't the same as somebody who was like a first generation person here, because they're not even looking at it. They're not even looking at it the same. Even though they might have the same opportunity as far as like going to get their credit fixed. Being born with a birth certificate here puts you in a negative. So to even get out of that, you gotta bow.
Yeah.
Because a birth certificate is just a social account number. You know what I'm saying? The same 9-digit number you get when you get a EIN is a 9-digit number when you get a Social Security card.
Right.
So that EIN can be used to go get credit, but if you already got a Social Security card, it's something working against you that makes you have to work double as hard. And like, to build my credit, I have to. A lot of Black people have their parents put something in their name or something like that.
Energy bill.
Yeah. But even before that, I might have had just a debt that didn't put me at 700 when I first started putting my primaries on there. And I wonder why, but it's because I already have a account that's a primary account to America. So my credit not gonna grow as fast as say his. You know what I'm saying?
So when he's coming over as a immigrant basically and just now gets his social or his situation, he don't have that.
You just got with your when you started your credit, what did you do?
No, I had my social. So I got my social when I was young. But what he's saying there, it is true because like I said, you got debt that you probably don't even know about compared to me coming here. I'm from another country. I'm not coming here with any debt. I'm literally starting.
So even though it doesn't necessarily show up on the TransUnion or whatever, it's still something there.
It's something
just
there
off having.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That started in the 30s though.
You got a book about that?
Nah, but it's a law about it. Dang, it's the Rockefellers' uncle that started the law in the 30s. I know his name is Cole Aldrich. Nah, I don't want to say the wrong name, but it's something like that.
Okay.
And he put it into play in the 30s so that when people were born, they could be able to be tracked and they could be able to have a debt attached to their name. So when
I do
they
know
have
that.
when they have a debt attached to their name, whatever they want to do, even if they want to build a credit, they had to work around their debt, or it had to be tied to their debt. That was the whole point of us getting these Social Security.
That shit crazy. That's just really crazy when you think
But
about it.
it really go even crazier when you look at what the indigenous people in America look like prior to colonization.
Talk about that, because you've been talking about that a lot of
That's
times.
been
Like,
kind of my latest thing, because when I do I ain't gonna say it's my latest thing, but I got a picture of me and my great grandmother in 1996. She passed away. So it was like a Christmas. I'm opening gifts, and when people think Native American, they think about like a light skinned, long hair person, or something like the Siberian immigrants that came here a couple thousand years ago.
like through Canada. I'm not like Alaska, shit, Canada.
Yeah. But those are not the indigenous people. There's a difference between an American Indian and a Native American. So when you look at American Indian, they look like me. My grandmother looked exactly like me. She was born in 1898, and all of them, when they were born, were considered Indians up until 1913, when all of them got changed to Negro or color. So when you look at, I started going through the history, and like her mom was 100% Indian, her dad was 100% Indian. You go all the way back to like the 1700s, where one of them had decided that they would accept Christianity, and it put them into, that's how they got into the diaspora roles and were able to be listed as an Indian. So if you didn't do that, then you just got listed as nothing. You just went into slavery.
Oh,
So if you don't accept Christianity, you go straight into slavery, and you can't do anything. But since they did it, they were able to go into like learning towns where they basically learn how to be American. And then a lot of them went into the military. So people look at it like, oh, it was a black military. It wasn't a black military. They were indigenous Americans. They were the Indians. So they were basically prisoners of war, since if Columbus landed in Puerto Rico in 1492 and started Taino Indians, Spain had started to go into Mexico, and they did something called, they started creating mestizos, which means Spanish people were real short. They were like 4'7". And the original people that inhabited Mexico were like 6 feet tall, dark skinned, look like you and me, but they made them merge. And when they made them merge, it created a population, which is today's Mexico. And it was today's Mexican. And it created a caste system. That's why, bro, if you ask Mexican, like, what their great-grandparents look like, they'd be like, he black. You know what I'm saying? Both of them have black grandparents, or super dark skin,
right?
Because that's what the original inhabitants of the land look like. But
the whiter they get, the more they be like, "Oh, you look Spaniard," type of deal.
Yeah. So it was a guy named Vicente Guerrero who was president of Mexico, and he was mestizo. He was mixed with the Aboriginal and Spain, and he was trying to like recognize Aboriginals, but them losing to Texas kind of destroyed everything. So it was like, that's the history of this whole Turtle Island.
Yeah.
From North America to South America, everywhere was dark-skinned people.
Yeah. Man, I mean, and just to kind of segue that into the next topic, I was going to get into traveling. Like, with you doing a lot of traveling now throughout the country, what's like people's temperature on these kind of conversations? And like, obviously,
where you from.
Yeah.
If you from Virginia or the Carolinas or Florida, you already know that, because you already know you indigenous to the land. Because the Carolinas, Alabama, Virginia, those are people that were, they landed in Virginia when they got the
straight from
the settlement of Jamestown. And they have, like, you ever seen like a coffee shop Indian, the tobacco Indian? That'll be like smoking. They look dark skin, they got braids, they got dreadlocks. So if you from Virginia, you already know. If you from South Carolina, North Carolina, you already know. A lot of people in Georgia, Alabama, but outside of that, like, people ain't gonna know. They're gonna look at you like, what? We black, we came from Africa.
Right. Like, their only thoughts is that we were slaves.
They only think we were slaves and came from Africa. They don't know that people came to Africa, but they were, say for instance, a guy named Crispus Attucks. You know who Crispus Attucks is? Crispus Attucks' mother was 100% indigenous and his father was 100% indigenous. But they had such a clear description of Crispus Attucks that he was dark skinned, he was like 6'2", that they tried to make it seem like he was mixed with African because his mother had married an African. But the African his mother married was married when he was like 7 years old. His father ended up being a person in the military. So it was like, dang, why do he look like that? Like, because that's what the indigenous look like. But they can't tell that story. They have to say he's African, or then you realize that all these people here have been here.
Yeah.
They just are prisoners of war, and they've been tricked out of their spot.
For sure. So getting into some of the stuff we was talking about travel wise, like how has travel impacted your worldview already as, just like as a black man, but just as a leader and somebody who's building?
They say there's something we have inside of our body called a Kundalini energy. That Kundalini energy wakes up more with
For
sight,
sure.
the sounds, the smells,
Yeah.
the things that we identify with. Our body reacts to them. Sometimes people, you ever smell the smelling salt? It's like, oh. You'll go somewhere and smell of some cooking or smell a herb, and it'll interact with your body. You're like, hold on. Like on Black Panther, they took the purpose and he Black Panther. It's real. Like, based on what you do, your access to information opens up. You have more portals ready to download.
Yeah.
So that's what traveling has did for me, and just allow me to be able to have a higher perspective. So now when I look at a map, I'm not looking at it like, okay, my hood right there, this is Louisiana, I'll be the going. No, I can turn the globe and be like, China right here, something going on everywhere in the world.
Right.
And usually when I go somewhere, I try to go to the culture, like the things that they would eat, not just like to be a tourist. I don't like being a tourist. I kind of want to go the places they would eat in, chill or whatever. Like you say, he was at the barbershop and the braider. I want to talk to the people from there. So speak English.
No, on a JetQuest trip, that's one thing. Obviously, like our average trip is like 5 to 7 or 8 days, so it's not like you can't immerse like I did for 3 months. But we do a good job and try to do a mix of, obviously people they're gonna spend money because they want to do the Instagram stuff and the nightlife stuff, but we got to give them the culture, like the local cuisine. We want to show them like the real, obviously not dangerous parts, but like the real culture of this place that we at. Because when you do that, you really feel like you live there for a second. If you get that many different experiences, because most of our people that we see traveling, they go to a place and they turn up for 6 days straight. You ain't getting no culture. You ain't getting no real cuisine off the resort or outside the clubs.
You only seen what herbs is specific to this location.
You know what I'm saying?
So what do you feel like traveling has done for you since your very first trip?
I mean, exactly what you said, like the whole Kundalini energy and being able to just have different downloads of different. I mean, I've been to, the pyramids in Mexico. I've been to the pyramids in Egypt. I've been to Bali, and Bali's an extremely spiritual, awakened place. You know what I'm saying? And just seeing completely different cultures. Obviously, everybody is very much the same on an individual level. We all just want to have a good life, bro. We ain't trying to do nothing to nobody, really. It's when we have restrictions on us that we then start fighting back. And when people get into groups and get into, just a community, that they start thinking as a group, and that can turn negative. But everybody essentially is really good and getting to see that.
Any of the I don't know what it might be called in other places. In Mexico, I think it was called a Tezmacal, where
I drank some mezcal. I don't know what that is.
all right, so they got big rocks, and you get up under the clay, and then they pour hot lava rocks into it, and they just smoke it out. And
like you in there, and
it's like a hot bath.
Okay.
And it's supposed to cleanse your spirit.
Uh-huh.
So the whole time you in there, it's just filling up with hot smoking lava rocks. They in there chanting, and as long as you could take it, you stay in there. But it's like you gonna start having visions. You're not taking no drug.
You did this?
Huh? I did this. It's called a Tezmacal.
Okay.
You don't take nothing. You just in a clay.
And when you say take it, it's like, can you handle the heat, or like being able to not breathe clear type of deal?
It's not even the breathing clear. It's just the facts that everything you inside the elements, and you being one with the world at that time, and you can tell. You can tell that it's having an impact on you, and you can tell. It's like your mind will just start to travel. It's almost like astral projection or something. You'll feel something that somebody else that was happening publicly or something.
Oh yeah.
It's just crazy. That Tezmacal, it did it for me. I was like, ooh.
This was what part of Mexico?
I don't even remember, because I've been to Mexico so many times. I don't
write that down.
But no, wherever it was at, they got something called a glass house, where you stay in a house made of glass. You're basically in the jungle, but it's clear. And when I was in the glass house, one of the things you can do was the Tezmacal. So wherever that glass house is where I was at.
Have you heard of a show called 7 Perfect Strangers? Man, long story short, it's basically about these 7 different people / families who came to this like healing retreat. They all had different traumas and problems that they was coming from, and the lady who was in charge of the healing retreat basically was giving them shrooms without their knowledge, and they was healing from their traumas, and they didn't even realize till like 3/4 through the whole retreat that, oh shit, we've been getting drugged with shrooms in their morning smoothies. And at first they was upset about it, but they had to come and look like it's been working. So they eventually accepted it. But that is one of the things they had, was like that kind of a steam room under a giant rock type of thing. It might have been more so.
I just looked. It's called a Tezmaccal. It's a purification bath for the body, mind, and spirit, and it's in the Mayan jungle.
Okay. Yeah, Mexico. So yeah, that was what the show was about.
I suggest everybody. When I turned 30, I put out my little book that said things to do before 30, and I put that in there. Like, everybody should go experience that bath.
Get your passport. That's in there, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Get a passport.
So
what about you?
Quick. So like, what is one, like, I guess, being a community leader, because I talk to people all the time. I'm like, man, I know so much information, but I am not trying to be in the front. No, I'm not trying to be.
Man, it's the worst.
What's the other side that comes with that? Because like I said, I know it's like people don't want you telling the truth, but what for you doing it? Like, how is your mindset? Just like, you know what, I'm all in with it.
It's just because I feel like that's my purpose. So like I was talking about earlier, and I say that. In ancient Remetu or Egypt, they had philosophy. Not even a philosophy. It was something that they said would happen in 6,000 years. That in the age of Aquarius, the year of the 9, Mayat would return to restore balance, to create a ritual procession in the consciousness. And at that time, a trumpet would sound, and it would galvanize the people to learn how to work together. Now, their prophecies can be duplicated. You can find it in the Bible, you can find it in the Quran, you can find it in the Torah, you can find it on the walls and the hieroglyphics. So when they say Mayat, it talks about somebody that can balance the scale. So my son's a Libra, and I was born in 1990, and I was kind of realizing that the year of the 9 was 2016 was the year of the 9, and right now we're in the year of the 9, 2025, just by adding the numbers up. Even though it's the Gregorian calendar, I'm still looking at it like the year of the 9. But I'm like, if I'm realizing all this, I'm a Libra, I'm trying to balance the scale, I'm trying to wake the world up through consciousness. I felt like that was my purpose. But also it's the ways that people have combated it or make me be like, hold on, y'all really got me fucked up. Like, in 2019, I ran for city council, right? I ran for city council kind of by chance because I had a podcast and the lady on there was running for mayor. And I'm like, what you running for mayor for? Why? What's the purpose? If you go get the money, you can help the people. And she was like, it ain't as hard or as much as you think it is. It's just go sign the paper and you can run for something. So she like, come up to City Hall with me. So I went to City Hall, I signed the paper. Probably like 4 months later, guy from my hood, OG Scott, older guy from the neighborhood, he called me to his community center. He was like, I got somebody here that's running for city council that he wants your back and he wants you to help. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, who you running against? The guy tell me his name Rashad Cave. I'm looking at the list. He running against Scarface. He running against Carolyn Evans Shabazz, who was the lady who won. She's our current city councilwoman. And then I see my name on there, and I'm like, I'm running. And he was like, that's you running for real? I was like, I don't know. I guess I'll go see. So I go to City Hall. They like, oh, well, the first time I voted was 2008 when Barack Obama ran for president. So what I figured out was, if you were in Texas and you were in college at that time and you voted at your college, the person that worked in Austin, who was the Secretary of State, was fired because everybody who voted for Barack Obama, they unregistered to vote. So they was like, oh, well, you ain't registered to vote, you can't run. I'm like, damn, I done voted before, I should be registered. They like, oh, well, she got fired, told the whole story. I'm like, all right, that's kind of janky. And then it was like, all right, well, if you get 500 signatures, you can run. So this is when Soul Food Vegan had just opened the 3rd Ward. I went to Soul Food Vegan, I made a post like, everybody come sign this paper, I'm finna run for city council. I got 500 signatures, took back the same day. They were like, man, this is supposed to take months. They like, the deadline is like tomorrow. Like, it take me an hour. It ain't nothing to get 500 signatures. So then they was like, all right, they called me back like a week later, it was like, oh, you can't run because of the verification thing, but you can be a write-in or something. So I'm like, I gotta be a write-in. My name can't be on there. They were like, no. I was like, I really feel like y'all playing with me, but I'm gonna still run just because I had started to meet all of the people that was running, and my conversation wasn't about winning city council. It was about how we can leverage technology to create an economically sufficient community. So now when I'm going in places and I'm describing that, hey man, it's 200,000 people in this district. All they have to do is to be able to take a percentage of them that are willing to invest into the community, and $20 a month is not a lot. So if 10,000 people is willing to invest, it's 50,000 plus homes. If we just get 10,000 people to do $20 a month, we got that 200,000. We can put it into wherever we want and constantly rebuild this community, and we don't have to wait on investors to come in. And the pushback that I was getting and the stuff that was happening, I'm like, bro, this
Blowing your mind.
It was blowing my mind. This
Same
is like
trying to help.
common sense to me. This is like, this should not be hard. This should be something that people should be able to see, especially somebody that's in politics, and be like,
I don't know about that, youngin.
Technology is advancing. We can be able to look at our community and technologically advance it. Why would you not? The politics is ran like it's 1700 right now. It's not. They're not using technology at all. They don't have a fund that goes into the community that people can benefit from. Like, do that even make sense to people? You got millionaires in this community. You got politicians in this community, police officers, firefighters. I could literally just take the firefighters and the police and add $20 to their check, and there we got enough that we need. Why are we making this harder than it needs to be? I don't even have to take the money from working people. And it was a guy running for, I ain't gonna say his name because he got too much going on right now. I was offered a bunch of money. I was offered a contract for $300 million. And the contract basically said that in Sunnyside, 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, and Acres Homes are opportunity zones. Opportunity zones is places that people can invest millions of dollars into, and their investments are untaxed. So if I buy as much property as I won't get taxed on it. And now what the government is doing is making to where even when I make profit, I can't get taxed on the profit. So they flooding trying to come to the hood. So people looking at it like, oh, they just fine. I'm like, man, the people trying to make that money. Their money, they ain't getting taxed if they buy these properties. And he was like, we're going to give you $300 million and you get to manage 3%, which would have been $9 million. Not like I get $9 million in my pocket, but I get to say where $9 million goes. But the other $300 million would have been into buying up all of the properties in the hood. And I'm like, bro, people really be coming at people with all type of
like on some Akon stuff.
On some, you be the face of our gentrification stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, people. But in the meeting, he like, but you lead this meeting with $1 million and $9 million in managing. However much fun you can go create some more millionaires. You can keep the money to yourself. You can put it where you want. But this other $293 million is gonna go into your district, and we gonna do what we want.
Somebody gonna get it.
They're buying up houses.
Yeah.
So they wanted me to be the person that convinced people to be able to sell their houses. You know what I'm saying? Or just talk about why they should sell their house and go around and do it on the regular and how it would benefit black culture or whatever.
Politics.
But I'm like, bro, it can't be this much background things going on. And I'm like, bro, I definitely have to be able to keep doing what I'm doing just so that we can even try. You know what I'm saying? Because just for me seeing that, it's like, we really don't have a chance. But I mean,
somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it.
It's acting bad, but somebody got to do it. Man, no, that's deep. I remember you telling me that actually too, and you was talking about just the different types of amounts of money that is in just a district. You know what I'm saying? Like not even the whole city. So that was mind blowing to me when
and
you
they
first told me.
They put it in there because I ride through Sunnyside. We got a couple rental properties out there, and it's like the hood. I tell people the hood ain't the hood no more. They knocking around and building.
Like even with 5th Ward, they changed it to the East Red River. With Sunnyside, now they call it the Lower Medical District. It's like, come on, bro, this is a black town. Yeah. A historic black town. Sunnyside has its own mayor.
Yeah. Cullen gonna be like Westheimer soon.
So Jalea telling me we coming down. So I got one more or two more questions. I don't know if you got one more or two more. So my main one is like, if you could go anywhere in the world, what's your biggest bucket list trip item right now?
Okay, so how I travel the States, I want to travel Africa.
Dope.
Spot to spot. Like, people don't realize how big America is. Like how you can go state to state. If I was in Europe, I would be going across the whole continent.
Like going to Texas.
Yeah. So I want to do that, but in Africa, I want to go Ghana, South Africa.
Okay. So next question, because we're doing a couple places in Africa next year with JetQuest. When your first JetQuest trip gonna be?
Look, I'm seriously thinking. I want to know when is the next one.
Well, the next one is Playa del Carmen. He's supposed to be coming on that one
when
too.
Is
That's
it?
in August on the 21st.
That's my son's birthday. I can't go.
No, I'm just playing. He can't.
So he's gonna be in school. What's the one after that?
Bali in September.
September what?
5th through the 12th.
I could make Bali.
We got a lot. We gonna keep going, but
could make Bali.
All right. Y'all heard it here. It's gonna be in the next.
I really want to go. Like every time I ain't a passport, bro. But it looks beautiful when you go. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, it's amazing.
It looks beautiful. So I really want to just experience the trip and just have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
All right, you got one last question?
Yeah, I got one question. If you can give the audience a tip, how to use credit and just your mindset about credit to do it the right way to build up your community. Because in my mind, listen, if we all get 700, it only take a couple of us to get $1 million. But what's your point of view or a tip to the guests?
I think that not that they should leverage credit to go get a bunch of flashy things, but I think that everybody should leverage their credit to be able to have access to get a house that they want to live in and a car that they want to live in so that they can get good payments. As long as you make them payments, I would try to just do real estate stacking. So that purchase that we made in 2019, like I say, it made me have a net worth, which is the coolest thing in the world to me because most people don't have a net worth. And that was strictly based on credit and relationships with the bank. So now that people all it takes to get a mortgage, I was about to say something illegal, but all it takes is for you to have your credit and you can pretty much go get whatever you want. Then it's about spending it the right way, but you got to fail before you succeed. So I say everybody should go try to get a house, get a car you want to drive, make as much content as you can. But think about it like this. If I'm looking at like futuristic investing, I'm going to invest in things that are guaranteed to win. If I'm looking at crypto, if I'm looking at little stuff, depending on who you are, you should do something different. Like if somebody got a big personality, they should be making clothes. Because wherever you go, people going to ask you what you got for sale. Everybody should have a book. Everybody should have little stuff, and then you should always be able to ride around with those assets so that you can sell something. And credit just allow you to be able to have the money to spend to make more money. I don't think nobody should just get credit and just be swiping it at the mall. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should have something that they can sell. That's my idea.
Credit and invested in assets.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily assets, something that you can sell to start your business.
Well, that's an asset, though.
Yeah. Once you have started a business, then you're in the process of being able to understand business more. You can start doing anything because starting is the hardest part.
Once you had that first cycle of using credit and then making profit from it, your life
it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
So
you get $10,000 and use 500 of it and make it 1,200. You're gonna be like, ooh.
Exactly. So last thing. So tell everybody where they can find you, what you got for sale right now, how they can connect with you, be a part of the Unity is Wealth community, all of that.
They can join the Unity is Wealth community. Really, I'll tell everybody, just go. I don't want to be called. I don't want to be emailed. That's my biggest pet peeve. I do not want to check no emails. They go on my Instagram. It's a link in my bio. My Instagram is POP_DARBY, Pop Darby. It's a link in my bio. It's not my number, but it's the best way to contact me.
Yeah.
And once you sign up for that link in my bio, we automatically going to be in contact because you're going to have a way to get into a group chat that I am the manager of. And once you get into that group chat, we pretty much partners.
Bet. Man, hey, this was a lot of insight. I know you for a minute, so I've gotten some of this game from you, and me and him, we talk about a lot of these same topics. So, I know some of this stuff, and I'm not trying to be an expert, but I know some people watching this ain't never heard none of the shit we just said on here today. So I'm excited to hear the feedback from people hearing a lot of this stuff from just, 3 handsome black men with braids, chopping it up on the slick. So I'm excited about that.
The braids is the new wave.
You feel me? Appreciate you coming, bro. Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate you.
This has been another episode of the Jet Lounge podcast, man. Episode 5, episode 1,000 coming soon. Let's go.